here's my case study for Module 9. Just to summarize what's going on, James is a student, an older student from the rougher side of town, and has shown his life and school life are not always the greatest, and he doesn't always make the best decisions. David is an honor student, great at band, has never been in trouble, never gotten any reprimands or anything. And Richard is a first-year assistant principal that's really just wanting to make a difference, like a lot of us that go into education. And so what ends up happening is the older student asks the younger student to help him hold things. Actually, he threatens him to hold something that he knows could get both of them in trouble. And when this is found out, they do both get in trouble, and they both get arrested and have to go into custody. And now the assistant principal has to decide whether filing paperwork on both of the boys is a good idea, or what is the best legal and ethical option that he can make. The actions of James and Richard, the assistant principal, have both hurt the younger student. While James was bullying David into holding on to something he knew would cause both of them to get in trouble, Richard chose to ask an officer to be involved in the interview before really knowing what was going on, and this caused both of the students to be arrested and taken to a detention center. Bringing the brass knuckles to school was illegal in the first place, which James decided to do, and then getting David to hold on to them just put him in an even tougher spot, and David as well. And now Richard, the assistant principal, has to make a legal and ethical decision that could affect both him and the students, as David was forced into these things he doesn't really feel that is right. However, by not holding David partially accountable as well, he is facing reprimand, and the paperwork will be filed against him as well. So basically, to summarize all of this, an older student is taking advantage of a younger student by scaring him into holding on to something that they both know is wrong and illegal in this case, and as a result they are both caught and find themselves in legal trouble. Like we talked about, Richard is a first-year assistant principal. He's from the rougher side of town, and he's really wanting to make a difference with his tougher group of students. James is the leader of these rougher students at the time and gets in trouble quite often, but has been doing a better job lately. David is a younger student that's in honors classes and band and has never been in trouble or caused any issues in his life. The school officer is just there trying to do his job and was asked to sit in on this meeting, and therefore he is forced to carry out these actions. David's mother is very upset about the situation and what this could mean for her son, and also a little bit upset about how the school and the assistant principal are handling it. James's mother really doesn't seem to care and thinks that possibly leaving her son where he is will help him to learn a lesson. Okay, facts about the place. It's a school. It's just like a regular school. They have about 900 students. There are children with issues and children that work hard to do everything they need to. There's also an assistant principal that just wants to make a difference, which is like a lot of schools that have teachers that are wanting to make a difference. And there's also a school officer that is there to make sure everything is running legally and running smoothly from the law perspective. Like I said, it's a public school with 900 students, a variety of students at the school. They have honors programs, a good music program, and things like that. There could be some issues, but just based on how everything is handled with the community, even though there are two boys involved, they're two different types of boys, and that could cause a split in the community. The school itself wants to make sure that they're not causing issues in the community and causing a split in the community, and they don't want the wrong information getting out, causing more rumors that could cause more issues. And as of right now, I do believe that this is all the information that we probably need to make the decision. So by taking no action, or if not filing the paperwork against David, Richard could be putting himself and his job at risk with the reprimand. This could also cause friction within the community when they realize that there was paperwork filed on one student and not the other, specifically because one student is from the south side, or the worst part of town. Another option would be to file the paperwork on both boys to avoid the reprimand. So this could also cause issues within the community that need to be taken into consideration. They could cause a divide just based on the fact that the blame is being placed on one student that has many issues, but the one that has no issues is still being reprimanded and things like that. Another option would be to file paperwork on both the boys, but then to also find a process in which you could work on shortening David's sentence, or consequences that could be more fitting for him. So you're fighting for what's best for the student, but also doing what you are supposed to be doing. And then finally, the principal could choose to not file any paperwork and just begin to fight for another option or sentence. This could include a shortened version or lesser consequences, considering it's his first offense and that knuckles were not his. The first option, not filing any paperwork and taking those consequences as they come, could be hard for everyone. Not only the principal facing the reprimand, but parents of the students on the south side of town could take offense and assume it was only an option because the boy was from the other side of the town, just how they grew up on different sides, and just causing that split. Filing filing paperwork on both of the boys could also cause some issues for the school and the community. The parents, like on David's side, will be upset because they feel like it's his own fault, and the people on the south side will be upset because, like always, it's being said that it is a kid's fault from the south side of town. Option 3 would be to file paperwork on both boys and then fight for justice for David. You could have some pros and cons. While people could be upset that you're fighting for a certain kid, it could also be good because you can show problems with the system and not everything is black and white, and finding maybe levels for the system that you could work through. And then option 4 would be to not file any paperwork and just to fight for justice. Not filing any paperwork could get you in trouble, but also cause issues with the school and other parents. However, you could use this time to shed light on a system that could use a second look for everyone's benefit. By analyzing the ethical frameworks and evaluating the ethical decisions, I would probably go with option 3, to go ahead and file the paperwork, but also be looking for another way for the system to be reworked. I would choose this option because while James admitted that the knuckles were his, David was still holding on to them and not trying to get help or tell anyone. Also, this way, we could fight for the administration and just the school as a whole to look at a system and see that not everything is black and white. But this could help to cultivate more ethical behaviors by modeling an ethical behavior. So by me as the assistant principal doing what I believe is right, but also trying to fight for the injustices that are happening, you could also show that the school is looking to make the best process for everyone in that situation, whether they be first-time offenders or people that are in the office all the time or things like that. And while it could be a longer process, I think that it might end up being better in the end. Implementing the decision, I think that by working on bettering the system, it would take the Director of Secondary Education, the DAEP committee, or whoever is in charge of that as well, and just showing that the school district itself has a unified front. Even though this could make some people upset, I believe that this is probably the best way to just work on that and to help make sure that every angle is seen, to make it the best way for everyone in the community and all kids in the future. But also by showing that unified front, we can get feedback from the community, and the result would be working on a system that would be better for everyone in the end. As a reflection, working on this assignment was very hard and very frustrating, and I have definitely been someone that has seen more black and white and less gray, and I think that there have been more situations in this class as well as this case study that have shown me that that's not always the case, and there can always be better ways to do that ethically and legally, and for this reason I feel that going forward in my time as an educator, it would just help me to think about all the angles and all the options, and just agree that working on these things as a whole and not just seeing black and white all of the time can also be the better for me, but also for my students and others that I may lead as well.